rise in support of this legislation and want to speak specifically to sections 3 and 4, which have to do with EMTALA. It's been said a few times today that this section is a just-in-case section of the bill. But when it comes to emergency pregnancy care, EMTALA is currently not being enforced at the federal level, and that's happening right now. I've also heard from those across the aisle that we're being Chicken Little. And I'll have to admit, I've never seen the movie, read the book, or the cartoon, but with a quick Google, apparently when you're Chicken Little, you're describing a situation where someone believes that a major disaster is imminent even when it's not true. And that you should think critically before jumping to conclusions and following others blindly. So I just want to give a little context to why sections 3 and 4 of this bill are so vitally important right now in this state and our country's history. So when the Supreme Court ruled on Dobbs back in 2022 and overturned Roe v. Wade, states began enacting abortion bans. And to date, there are 41 states that have enacted abortion bans. 13 states have a total abortion ban, and 28 states have abortion bans based on gestational duration. And one of those states was Idaho. And Idaho actually challenged the federal government, saying that EMTALA should not require them to provide abortion care to pregnant people in emergency situations. And so at the time, the Biden administration put out guidance that made it clear that under EMTALA, hospitals and physicians are obligated to provide stabilizing care, which includes abortion, if that treatment is necessary. And again, this isn't a just-in-case, because just 2 months ago, we are now in the month of May, just 2 months ago in March, the Trump administration dropped the legal challenge that the Biden administration had brought against the state of Idaho. And by doing that, by dismissing that federal lawsuit against the state of Idaho, this means that there is no federal enforcement of EMTALA when hospitals do not provide the abortion care necessary to stabilize a patient's health. And so again, since we're being accused of describing a situation when someone believes there's a major disaster, even when it's not true, let me just give you some examples of what's going on across this country. So in a post-Dobbs America, we had a pregnant woman in the state of Texas, an 18-year-old, who was trying to get care in a Texas ED and died. We have a woman who ended up miscarrying in the restroom of a Texas emergency department because they refused to admit her. In North Carolina, there was a woman who gave birth in a car after the emergency department couldn't offer her an ultrasound. And there was a woman who went back and forth from Missouri to Kansas, 3 different visits to 3 separate emergency departments because her water had broke at 18 weeks of pregnancy, and she knew she was walking around with a dead fetus inside of her, and she was unable to get care. So I don't think we're making up things and saying the sky is falling when it's not, because it is. And so what we want to do with this legislation is ensure that when someone presents at an emergency department in the state of Connecticut, when a woman presents at an emergency department in the state of Connecticut with pregnancy complications, she will receive the care she needs and deserves. And so, Madam Chair, I have a few questions to clarify the intent of the legislation.
Please
so
proceed.
Section 3 requires that hospital emergency departments, in cases when there is a serious risk to a patient's life or health, to include as part of their required care reproductive health care services related to pregnancy complications if those services are legal in the state and necessary to treat the patient. So for the record, I want to ensure that abortion care is the standard of care for miscarriage management and treatment for ectopic pregnancy. So Madam Chair, through you, Mr. Speaker, if a pregnant patient presents at a hospital emergency room in Connecticut, and the standard of care is abortion care, is that patient guaranteed an abortion at any hospital in the state of Connecticut? Through you, Madam
McCarthy.
Mr. Speaker.
Representative McCarthy-Vahey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes.
Representative Gilchrest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And through you, would this legislation guarantee an abortion would be provided to a patient at any hospital emergency room in Connecticut if abortion is the standard of care for miscarriage management or treatment for ectopic pregnancy? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative McCarthy-Vahey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes.
Representative Gilchrest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And would a pregnant patient with the same presenting symptoms be treated the same way at all hospitals in Connecticut? Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative McCarthy-Vahey.
Mr. Speaker, yes, this is what EMTALA requires. Through you.
Representative Gilchrest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Madam Chair. I would just say it's hard to hear time and again the denial of reality in this country right now. And what's happening in this country right now is that women's health is at risk and women are dying as a result of decisions being made at the federal level. And so I am proud that in the state of Connecticut, we are standing up to ensure that, again, when a woman presents at a hospital in the state of Connecticut, she will receive life-saving care. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.